Hello everyone in grade 12. We are going today to find the limit of piecewise function. I'm sorry, here we don't have a space. That is by mistake, okay? I don't mean this one. I have to write piece, okay, wise function. Okay, I'm sorry, that is by mistake, okay? Don't forget. Here, before I talk about the limit of the function, of piecewise function, I have to know what is the meaning of piecewise function. As you know, the piecewise function is a function which is defined by sub-functions, okay, on subdomain. Here, f of x is defined by two functions. The first one, okay, when x less than 0. That is subdomain, is a subset of the domain of the function, subdomain. And 2x plus 2 when x greater than or equal 0. That is subdomain. It means when we would like to find the value of the function and the value of the x here, add value of x here, which is negative, so I have to replace in this one, negative x less than 0. I have to use this rule to substitute in this rule, or the sub function, this one. Okay, if the value of x less than 0 or negative by any way, okay? Here, for example, I'd like to find what? F of -1. Which rule I have to substitute in? I plug in the function such that here x equal -1 belongs to which subdomain, the upper one or the lower one. Here negative, it means less than 0. Here I substitute in this rule for all x less than 0. -1 less than 0, so I substitute in the upper one or the first rule. To multiply -1 plus 1, it will be -1. Okay, f of 0, I have to check this value of x belongs to which subdomain? Belongs to the first one? No, because here only less than. 0 not included. Included if we have equal, like this one, x greater than or equal. So I replace in the second rule, it will be 2 multiply 0 plus 2, it will be 2. I hope it's clear. Piecewise function is a function which is defined by different function, another different function, or another different rules with on, or which is defined on subdomain. Okay, f of 2. Here, value of x here 2 greater than what? 0. So in this case, I replace in the second rule because it is included in the second subdomain, so I have to plug in or substitute in the function, the second function. 2 multiply 2 plus 2, it will be 6. Okay, I think it's so trivial, this one, because you learned it before in the previous year. Here, I'd like to enlarge this question to make you see well. Okay, here, evaluate each limit. Here I ask you to find limit. I have to read this one first. Limit the function for x plus 4 over absolute x plus 1 when x approaches -1 from right. Okay, where is -1? Identify the value of x on the x-axis. Then as I approach to it from right, as x approaches to -1 from right, I go toward the -1 from its right. Go with the curve of the function, okay, at the right of -1, here, that is 1, until I reach above. That is why I don't go in this direction. No, I go in this direction to reach above -1 or below. That is according to the curve of the function. Okay, if it is above, I'll go above. If it is below, I'll go below. Here, then, until I reach above, then take the value of y because the limit is what? the value of y. Please watch this video many times to understand if you have any missing understand, because this lesson I explained twice, okay? Online session and in the class. Now I record the lesson for you. Okay, here. Find the limit of f of x when x approaches -1 from left. Okay, please focus here. This function, I give you the rule as you see, and also I give you the graph. It's better for me to find the limit by using the graph or graphically. Limit from, where is -1? I have to identify -1 here on the x-axis. As I approach, x approaches to -1 from left, go with the curve at its left, which is here, that is at its right. Okay, until I reach below. That is why I go in this direction, not the other direction. Until I reach what? Below -1, since the curve below -1, under -1, okay? In this case, it will be, takes the value of y, so the limit approximately -7. Okay, I just follow the steps which I told you before. That is the mechanism of finding the limit graphically, which I already explained before. Okay, here. In the previous lesson, I asked you to find the limit of the function when I approach from one side, maybe right or from left. In this case, I ask you to find the limit of the function when x approaches to what? -3. But you don't tell me from right or from left. In this case, I have to find from both and to compare the result. If they are the same, limit exists and will be like them. If they are not equal, the limit does not exist, and in this case, the graph of the function has a jump at this value of x. This function, I'd like to find its limit when x approaches to it. Here, that is -3. As I told you, I have to identify where is this value of x on the x-axis. Then, I have to find the limit from right and the limit from left. Use your finger here, go with it until I reach what? Below. So, what is the limit from right? -3. Negative what? 3. Go with the curve of the function at its left here, at the right. This one right, this one left. Go with it, but from very closed area, not from here. Not from here at the right, no. From closed area with respect to what? -3. I go to it until I reach below it, takes the value of y, which is what? -3. So, or you can use your finger, come from right and from left. If your finger reaches to the same value, so the limit exists, and it will be like them, which is the value of y, approximately -3. Someone can tell me, Miss, I can find limit f of x when x approaches to -3 from right. From right, as you see, it will be what? -3. Limit, but I can find this one mentally. If we find graphically, you can find it mentally. It's so clear. -3 from left. As we approach, look here with me. Look with me. As we approach to -3 from left, go with the curve until I reach below it, it will be -3. Since the behavior of the function from right as from left, limit f of x when x approaches to -3, it will be exist and be -3. I think it's clear because we repeat this one many times. You can watch the video several times. Don't forget to watch this one and try to solve alone, then check your result. Here, someone so smart, he can tell me, Miss, at x equal -1, the curve of the function has what? As you see, it has what? Has jump. So the limit does not exist. Understand? I have two cases at which the limit failed to exist. The first one, when the behavior from right different from the behavior from left, and if the curve of the function goes to infinity. In this case, I have to find the limit. Look with me. As we approach to -1 from left, f of x approaches to what? -1. It means the limit from left to -1, the left. Okay, as we approach to sorry, I'm sorry, different color, yellow. As we approach from right, f of x approaches what? -3. So the behavior from left not like the behavior from right. That is why it does not exist. But the others one, they understand well. If the curve of the function had a jump, as you see here, I have one from left, one from right. Look, your fingers go to different point. Okay? I'd like to tell you something because some others miss. Here we have, when you find the limit from left, okay, here, look, focus with me. Someone asked me in the session, Miss, wait, what's the problem? Okay, when we approaches from left here, the function has hole. I told you many times, when we find the limit, I don't care if the function defined or undefined, I don't care. I care only because when I find the limit, I find the value of y the function approaches to it when x approaches to the given value. I don't ask about the value of function at this value of x, understand? Here I approaches to x to -1. I don't care if the function defined or undefined at x equal -1. Okay. If you ask me to find the limit using graph, okay, and you ask me to find the limit from one side, I will find it only in one step. But if you ask me to find the limit, but you don't, when x approaches to a given value of x, and you don't ask me to find from left or from right, it means I have to find both and to compare the value from left and from right, because that is the condition must be satisfied such that the limit of the function exists. Limit from right as the limit from, that is the condition. Okay, and the function a doesn't go to infinity. Look here. Means you ask me evaluate each limit. You may use the provided graph to sketch the function. Yes, I can use the sketch of this function to know, but in this case, please focus with me. I'll use the substitution in the rule that is satisfy this value of x. Look here, limit f of x when x approaches to -1, but from what? From left. What is the meaning from left? I'd like to show you something. Look here. If you have the number line like this one, that is -1. You approach to -1 from left. X approaches to -1 from left. So the values of x here less than -1, as you know. On the number line, as you go to right, you become bigger. Okay, -1 bigger than at the right of all of these numbers here. So it is what? All of these value less than -1. Here, x approaches to 1, -1 from right. It means I'm going to do -1 from right. All of the number here at the right of -1 bigger, sorry, all of the number here bigger than what? -1. Bigger than -1. Negative, understand? All of the number here greater than -1. Okay, in this case, when you say x approaches to -1 from left, it means the values less than -1. That's right. Left, it means less. Which one, all of value of x which approach, this mean from left, all of the x less than -1. Less than -1, this is the values of x included in this subdomain. I have to replace in this rule. Understand? From left, less than. From right, greater than. When you ask to find the limit from one side, I replace only in the rule which is satisfied this condition. Here, from left, less than. Okay? I have to replace -1. When we replace by any negative value in a function, okay, replace in, between two brackets. Replace this value of x between two brackets. -3, it will be -2. That is the limit limit of f of x when x approaches -1 from left. Okay, it's clear? Okay, watch the video, and if you have any question, please prepare all of your question if you don't understand. Okay, here in this case you ask me find the limit f of x when x approaches to -1, and you give me the piecewise function which is defined by different rule on different subdomain. Look here, here you ask me to find the limit when x approaches to -2, but you don't ask me from which side. Since I don't ask you from which side, you have to find from both sides. Like this problem, it's solved in how many steps? 3 steps. That is my mechanism. Because the limit of this function when x approaches to -2 is the behavior from left as the behavior from right. Study well the definition. Limit f of x when x approaches to -2 from left. Limit f of x when x approaches to -2 from right. Okay? Limit, 3 steps. F of x when x approaches to what? -2. Okay? How to find? Miss here, -2 from left. What is the meaning from left? Less than. I have to replace in the rule such that x is less than -2. Okay? From right, it means what? Greater than. I have to replace in the rule such that all of the values of x greater than -2. Okay? To find the last one here, I have to compare these two limits. If these two limits equal, limit exists. That is the condition. Behavior from right as the behavior from left. Okay, here from left less than, that is less than, I have to replace in the first rule or in the upper one. Don't forget to replace by the value of x between two brackets because it is negative. -4 multiply -2 minus 5, it will be -1. Okay, you find the result by using calculator. Here, greater than, it is what? -1. Someone miss why you take -1. This is constant function. What is the meaning of constant function? As x changes, y stay as it is. When x equal -1, it will be -1. 1, it will be -1. 0, it will be. As you change the value of x, y as it is, because it is a constant function represented by horizontal line passing through y equal -1. Here, since these two limits are the same, the limit exists and it will be like them, which is -1. When you ask me to find the limit, but you don't ask me from right or from left, I have to find from both sides and to compare the result. Please watch the video well. Your homework, I think, look here. How to solve this one? Okay, let's solve. Here you ask me, evaluate each limit, limit f of x when x approaches to 0 from right. From right, it means bigger than, it means x greater than 0. Okay, where is greater than? No, this one less. Greater than this one I have to replace here. So limit by replacing f of x when x approaches to 0 from right, I have to replace by replacing negative multiply 0, but zeros cancel this two term. Okay, by anyway, no problem, but I will show you. So the result, it will be -3. That is your result by replacing. Clear or not clear? Here, I solve this one because this one I will explain later, because it needs more time. Okay, look with me here. This one, limit f of x when x approaches to 1. Here I have to, it is a piecewise function. Okay, you don't ask me from one side. This means I have to solve it in how many sides? How many steps? 3 steps. Limit f of x when x approaches to what? 1 from left. Limit, I have to find from both sides, from left and from right. Okay, 1 from right. Then compare the result to find limit f of x when x approaches to what? 1. Here from left less than, replace here, it will be half plus, replace each x by 1, 9 over 2, it will be 10 over 2, it will be 5. By 1 here, it will be what? 1 square minus 6 multiply 1 plus 10 multiply 1. Okay, clear or not clear? 1 minus minus 6, it will be negative 4. That's right or wrong? 1 minus 6 multiply 1, it will be 1 minus 6, it will be negative 5 plus 5, it will be 5. Since the limit from left and the limit from right. Understand? 1 minus 6, it will be negative 5 plus 10, it will be 5. So since the limit from right as the limit from left, the limit exists and it will be 5. Okay. Please watch the video to understand well how to find the limit of piecewise function by substitution or from the graph, yani by using rule or by using the graph. Please study well and to prepare in any questions that you don't understand to discuss later. Thank you for joining the session and have a nice day. Bye-bye.